I signed my first NBA contract at 18, almost 19 years old. By the time I was 25, I could barely get up and down the court. My knees were so bad. I spent tons of money on some of the best doctors on this planet to help me with my knees, but it all failed. I sat down in a park in Houston with some ankle braces and a couple bands and figured out everything myself. This is that story and why it matters to you if you have knee problems. I'm from a small town right on the border of Mississippi and Louisiana called Picayune, Mississippi. Not many people at all. A few red lights. A Walmart came later on, but we had little stores like McDonald's and things of that nature. Country boy. Um, I had a pretty large growth spurt when I hit about 15, 14, 15. I grew 6 inches over one summer. And I was into basketball, but not a whole lot. My brother was real big on playing the game, and I would go out with him. But I started really catching the bug for it and playing with my friends and whatnot, and really ended up, making the junior high team and doing well, and then moving on to high school and really catching on. Um, my specialty was definitely shooting, and once my athleticism caught up with my height, there was a lot of dunking involved and a lot of big time plays in games that energize the crowd. Now, by the time I hit, my junior year, I was a top player around the country. I went out and on the road with our AAU team, the New Orleans Jazz, and played, some of the best high school players around the country. That's when I really started to be seen by the world, and my stock started to rise as a basketball player. Started getting NBA scouts out to my high school games, which was crazy in a small town like Picayune, Mississippi. There's a lot of excitement around all of that, very exciting times. And of course, I was selected to the McDonald's All American game in 1999. So I ended up going to that game, and I did well. I went with the intention of showing everyone that I was the best in the country. And I think I went out and proved that. I was able to break the scoring record, which was held by Michael Jordan in 1981. That's the year I was born. I broke that in 99, and obviously my stock rose. I was projected a top 10 draft pick at that point. When I broke the record, I partnered with McDonald's and had the McDonald's commercial. They had the little coin that they handed out at, with the Happy Meals or whatnot. And it was a very, very exciting time. Um, Lo and behold, I was able to be drafted to the Indiana Pacers with the fifth pick. Well, actually, I was drafted to the Toronto Raptors, traded to the Indiana Pacers with the fifth pick, and got there and joined with Reggie Miller and all of the older guys there, Dale Davis, and really, really learned a lot. It was exciting being around those guys and going out there and doing my thing. Had a very good first year. Well, very good first game. I scored 10 points, which was the most by, I think, a high school player at that time. And, during that time, though, through high school all the way up to the NBA, I always had knee issues, had to get swelling, the inflammation pulled out of my knees on a regular basis. I just thought that was a regular thing, right? I just thought that's something that is just normal, right? Didn't realize till later on that it was anything but normal. But I was able to play the game in Indiana and learn the city and be away from home for the first time. Not going to college, going straight into a job like that, into a city that I don't know. And, it was an experience that I'll always treasure. Now, I would say going into maybe my fourth year somewhere around in there. I came into training camp and the doc took a look at my knees and he just shook his head. He was like, I don't know how you've been doing this, but your knees are going down a bad path and you're either going to have surgery now or you're going to have surgery later on in the season. So I said, let's go ahead and knock it out now. So they went in, and it was supposed to be just a simple, well, they told me it was a simple scope, which is where they go in and they just take out all of the cartilage that's been floating around and kind of shave everything down. Some people respond well to it and are able to bounce back, and others aren't. But it was a high percentage that you would be okay. After that, I went into rehab. Everything was going well until it was time to get on the court. And when I stepped on a basketball court, I couldn't get into the 90-degree angle. Right? Every time I went down to approach that angle, it felt like stabbing pain. Right? And I'm 7 foot, but I played the 2 and 3 guards. So I'm known for getting in low positions, chasing guards around the court, being super athletic, getting up around the rim, shooting the ball, just everything athletic with me. That was kind of taken away, right? And it would come back in flashes because I would have days where I felt okay, sort of, and then other days where it was just terrible, right? And you would never know when that stabbing pain was coming. So I was in and out of rehab, and dealing with some of, the best PTs and doctor of PTs that you can imagine that money could afford at that time, the team. And I was back and forth to Boston working with a very high-end doctor of PT that works for all of the pro teams, both basketball and baseball and other sports and other celebrities. And I would get instances where I would get a little better and then everything would fall apart. I would get a little better, everything would fall apart. This would happen, over a 2 to 3 year span. I had one season where I literally only played about maybe 30 games, right? So things got bad, and then it got bad mentally. I think I consider myself a mentally focused individual, but things started to get, pretty bad mentally, as well as physically. And we all had a conversation, just thought it would be best to step away from the game. So I decided to step away from the game. That was in 2025. I stepped away and retired. But I kept in the back of my mind that I always was going to try and make the attempt to, resurface and show the world, my talent. So I always thought that I would take a break and then try again, which is what I did. But I took a short break. Well, not a short break. I took the first year, I just tried to relax and just let everything calm down. My knees kind of calm down. And I started doing a little bit of rehab myself, trying to figure things out. And, something just came to me one day when I was getting into sort of the 90-degree angle and trying to stay in that position. That's where all of my pain lived. And one day I really started to engage my quadricep and my glute muscle in a particular way. And I was able to get down and stay in that position for a short period of time through basketball drills. And then, maybe 30 minutes in, I would start feeling the stabbing again. So what I figured is if I could, maybe put together something that would keep the pressure on those muscles at that 90-degree angle, maybe I could build some stamina in those muscles to be able to allow me to play for a longer period of time, right? That was my mindset. So that thought came across my mind, and literally within the next 2 hours, I was sitting in front of a contraption that I just threw together. I just went to the store and literally just bought some bands and some ankle braces and a belt, and I just tape, and I just put this thing together. And lo and behold, it was nasty looking, but it did exactly what I thought it would do. Okay. And I was able to start using myself as a guinea pig and really start to train with that throughout the summer and throughout the next year, just, doing whatever I could athletically, and it would allow me to get into positions that I couldn't get in before and stay in for long periods of time. So I was able to utilize that, and I really started, creating sort of my own therapy program with a lot of the stuff that I learned from some of the PTs that I paid a ton of money on, and some of my own stuff that I created just on the spot. And I was able to get strong enough to make a comeback after being out for 4 years. Now, that's something I give myself a pat on the back for, because when most people leave any type of sport, being out for 2 years is a stretch, but being out for 4 is kind of unheard of. So to be out for 4 years and then step back into the game and to still be wanted was a huge deal for me. But I stepped back and I came back to the New York Knicks, and I was able to play with no problems. Obviously, there were things that I would have to do before the game and then during the game just to keep my knees in the proper, keep them proper and keep them, engaged through the process of playing. Now, I played in New York the entire season, and I was offered a second year, and I had already felt like I was on another path. I had discovered something, and I've been able to help myself. And at that point, basketball wasn't really the Northern Star for me anymore. My brain had switched more towards helping other people. Okay, and that's sort of what I do today. So from there, I was able to play and finish the entire season, which I wanted to come back and do, and everybody was pretty much amazed that I was able to come out and move like I was moving and do the things that I was able to do. Obviously, my athleticism took a hit a little bit, but I was able to get out there and run and move and jump and play the sport, which was awesome for me. Now, how does this relate to you, right? What are you doing right now to help your needs? Do you need help figuring out what's going on with your bone-on-bone needs? Are you having bone-on-bone situations and your doctor's telling you you need a replacement surgery and maybe you don't want it? Or maybe you're a weekend warrior and you want to go out and play sports, you want to play golf, you want to do all these things. Look, I've been there, and I have some of the worst knees you're going to see, so I can relate. So what I'd like to do is I like to invite you on a webinar that I've prepared. It's just going to show you some of the tips and some of the things that I've done in my own life and over my career to avoid surgery, and to continue doing the things I love to do, and continue playing the sports and continue training and doing all the activities, the hiking, the golf, all the things I love to do. I can still do with no problem. So I'd like to invite you on the webinar. I'm going to show you some things that I've learned. I'm going to show you, one super important stretch that'll probably take away a lot of your pressure right now today. So go ahead and click the link below this video. If you're on YouTube, the link should be below. If you're on Instagram, it'll probably be in my bio. But go ahead and click that link, take a look, and I hope it helps you, okay? Looking forward to seeing you in the future.